On July the 26th, 2010, nearly 1,000 Israeli policemen raided the Bedouin village of Al-Araqib at the northern threshold of the Negev desert, demolishing it to the ground as Israel sought to displace the inhabitants from their ancestral lands. That very week, the residents returned to rebuild the village. Since then, Al-Araqib has been destroyed and rebuilt more than 124 times. The Israeli authorities claim that the village did not exist prior to the establishment of the state in 1948, and that the villagers are therefore trespassers. Although the villagers' land claims are still under discussion in court, a forest is already being planted over their land. These trees are planted under the slogan of making the desert bloom, but are used to erase evidence of past inhabitation and preempt a future return of the indigenous Bedouin population. On January the 1st, 2016, as part of the efforts to support the villagers' rights, the residents of Al-Araqib, Forensic Architecture, and the NGO Zochrot contributed to a people-led truth commission. This commission collected testimonies, photographs, and land documents as evidence for the ongoing inhabitation and historic records of the land expropriation.
הם באים עם 1,700 שוטרים, עם מטוסים, מעצר מקומי, בית חולים נייד, עם כוחות, קמנדו, מטוסים באוויר, אבצ'י נחתו פה בכפר אל-עראקיב. מה אנחנו? מדינה אחרת באים ללחם? סך הכל אנחנו אזרחים. מה זאת אומרת? הכפרים האלה לא מוכרים בנגב נחתו מהשמיים? אני לא יודע. אין להם תעודת זהות? אז אני אומר כן, יש להם תעודת זהות. איפה תעודת זהות? אני אומר לכל אחד מאלה שנמצאים. אין שבט בנגב שאין לה יסוד בקרקע. ולפי דעתי, ביתי הגברות זה התעודה.
אבא שלי נולד ב-1914 באל-עראקיב, סבא שלי נולד ב-1845 ונפטר ב-1945, 100 שנה חי, באל-עראקיב. הוא ביקש לקבר בבית קברות שייח סאלח אל-עוקבי בזחליגה, כי אדמה פוריה, זה תלמי בילו היום. ופרופסור אורן יפתחל הייתי איתו, היה איתי בזחליגה וראה עצמות המתים, עצמות הסבא שלי שהוצאנו אותם מהתעלה שבלדוזרים חפרו שם בשדה הכביש. רבותיי, עשרות בתי קברות בנגב נמחקו מהמפה, עשרות בתי קברות של בדואים מוסלמים ערבים.
אנחנו מבקשים את הזכות שלנו, זכות הכרה מלאה באדמה שלנו. אנחנו לא מחפשים לא כסף ולא להעביר אותנו לשום מקום אחר.
السلام عليكم. أنا دكتور عواد أبو فريح، عواد جراد سويلم جراد أبو فريح الطوري من العراقيب. طبعا أنا أملك مستندات كثيرة جدا. هنا يوجد بعض من المستندات حول أرضنا في العراقيب. هذه المستندات تدل على ملكيتنا وعلى وجودنا في العراقيب منذ مئات إن لم يكن آلاف السنوات. تثبت أولا بالتوقيع الشهود وبالطوابع البريدية للدولة العثمانية وللدولة البريطانية فيما بعد. تثبت ملكيتنا لهذه الأرض، أرض العراقيب. أنا أملك في أرض العراقيب أنا وإخوتي طبعا يعني ورثة أبوي رحمة الله عليه ما يقارب 1200 دونم. الآن هناك نضال كبير جدا على إثبات ملكيتنا في العراقيب وإثبات ملكية وجودنا في العراقيب مع ضد دائرة أراضي إسرائيل وضد الكيرن كيامة ما يسمى الصندوق القومي الإسرائيلي الذين يحاولوا طبعا أن يسلبوا هذه الأرض منا. يسلبوا هذه الأرض إما عن طريق الأكاذيب بأننا بدو رحل ولم نملك أرض وكأننا يعني عابرون بالصدفة في هذه البلاد.
Almost exactly 71 years earlier, on the 5th of January 1945, British Royal Air Force Flight Number 13 left Port Said Airport in Egypt, and from an altitude of 15,000 feet took a series of top-down, topographic images of the northern Negev. This flight mission was part of their aerial survey of Palestine. These images captured Al-Araqib and reveal extensive Bedouin cultivation of the area. We can see stone houses, cultivated fields, tents, livestock pens, and terracing. When looking closely, we can identify darker grains in the photographic negative's emulsion, marking the openings of water cisterns, wells. Traces of cemeteries. All these are traces of Bedouin sedentary inhabitation of the area, in existence before the State of Israel was established in 1948. They refute the Israeli state's claims that at the time of its inception, the Bedouins were nomads and therefore devoid of land rights. We compare the 1945 Royal Air Force aerial photographs with recent satellite images taken in March 2017, made available to the public through online mapping services such as Google, Bing, and Apple Maps. Such satellite imagery over Israel and Palestine is degraded for security reasons, decreased fourfold below the international standard of 50 centimeters, every pixel covers an area of only 2 by 2 meters on the ground, devouring the evidentiary elements in the landscape. Despite this fact, due to their sheer size, the patterns of the JNF landworks and afforestation can be clearly seen on the satellite images. These forests are instruments of erasure and forced displacement. The removal of Bedouin traces from the ground is mirrored by their removal from the images. In January 2016, Forensic Architecture, Zochrot, and Public Lab initiated a collaborative mapping project in partnership with the families of Al-Araqib. Our photographic survey is meant to provide up-to-date, accurate aerial images of the material remains of Bedouin life in the area before it disappears. We used kites, rubber bands, and simple cameras housed in plastic bottles to conduct the simplest form of aerial photography. We call these community satellites. This top-down photography was carried out while our feet were firmly on the ground, walking the terrain with the kite camera above. Ground truth is the calibration of one mode of representation, the photographic grains of aerial images or the pixels of satellite ones, with the material evidence of the survey on the ground. Such a process as kite aerial photography lends itself to ground truth. At each location, we record testimonial and material evidence. The transformation of territory and the destruction of physical relics on the ground, some dating back hundreds of years, is a form of environmental violence directed against people as much as it is against the landscape and the climate. Documenting these relics, shortly before they will succumb to the bulldozers and planted forests, amounts to a mode of emergency archaeology. The images taken by the kite camera are used to form a model of the terrain. We combine thousands of images taken by different photographers at different times into precisely located and measurable 3D models using a computational process of structure from motion photogrammetry. In the process of photogrammetry, each data point on the two-dimensional image plane is precisely located in three-dimensional space, transcoding the terrain into a point cloud. The many point clouds we produce through this process are then collected, scaled, and brought together using ground measurements and GPS information. The result is a measurable and situated model. The stones, wells, ruins, and landscapes are transcoded into a photographic topography. It is a photographic environment devoid of a central privileged perspective. Collectively produced between January and December 2016, the Nakab platform collapses winter and summer conditions across an entire year. This point cloud environment provides the infrastructural basis for an expanding archive of photographs, audio, and video files, situated testimonies collected by activists and residents. Within the structure of the Nakab platform, we mark all the known Bedouin houses, wells, cemeteries, cisterns, and caves, as well as locations of Bedouin agriculture identified on the 1945 image, predating the Israeli state. Each site and its archaeological remains is supplemented by oral and media testimony given by the Bedouin families. The Ar-Turi cemetery is almost unrecognizable in the satellite image. In the point cloud, all individual graves can clearly be distinguished. Images and videos by residents of Al-Araqib, as well as by photographers from the collective Active Stills, spanning from 2009 before the demolition until today, allow us to track the process of destruction and rebuilding. Each media element is geolocated either through its metadata or through manual positioning. A collection of historic documents and maps compiled in the platform is a first iteration towards a forthcoming online archive of documentary evidence to Bedouin land use. This collection includes land transfer documents, agreements on the extent of tribal areas between different tribe leaders, tilth tax receipts for cultivation paid to British and Israeli authorities, maps, voter registration forms, identification cards with place of birth and residence marked. These documents testify to the continuous inhabitation and cultivation of these areas at the threshold of the desert. The project is an image assemblage composed of the pixel grids of contemporary satellite images, the silver halide grains of the lower altitude 1945 RAF aerial photographs, the floating particles of the point cloud shot from a low-flying kite, and the inscriptions written every day anew atop the surface of the desert.